project impact is to really highlight some change makers, incredible people, businesses, and projects in the property space that are doing incredible stuff in the social and environmental space. And I'd really like to congratulate, and I'm very excited to have on board our very first guests, Matthew White and Sahara Madi from Rooming House Pro. Thank you guys so much for being our inaugural guests on the series.
Thanks, Cheryl.
No worries. I love that what you've been doing. Big fan for many, quite a few years now, seeing you guys sort of grow and your business grow. I'd love to, and the audience would love to hear where it all started, what your backgrounds are, and how you ended up creating this business and these amazing communities. You've just done 50 rooming houses in Melbourne, which is, it's not like you've done 5.
It's
50. Yeah, 50. That's a huge number. So tell us a little bit about your background and how, Rooming House Pro has come about.
Well, thanks, Cheryl. Thanks for having us. It's really an honor and privilege to be a part of your first guest setup. We're pretty excited about this. Yeah, our journey has been an interesting one. Way back in the earlier days, I'd say. In the day, when we started out, our core premise was, we were looking for affordable accommodation. We went working on the mines for quite a while. And when the mine work dried up at that period, we found ourselves unemployed and with a big rent to pay. When we had mining wages, it was easy to pay that rent. But when those wages dissipated, we were stuck in a position where we were draining money and not income coming in. So we had to kind of figure out a solution. And it was about finding an affordable way to do that. We thought outside the box, and we thought, what a better way to live with other people, right? Share facilities and just, create a little community of our own. For us, it was about being in control of that situation, but we needed affordable accommodation. And therein started something for us that was interesting, in that we ended up living rent-free in a place that was otherwise costing us $700 or $750 a week. Right, it wasn't cheap, and it was a good place. So we ended up living rent-free in a beautiful place in a good part of town, and we were sharing. Fast forward a little while, we ended up, getting back on our feet, getting some good jobs again. My background is construction. Sahara's is administration. And we kind of started building ourselves up again. So we looked to buy property. We're property investors at core. We love property, and that's our passion and our enthusiasm. And we went to go and buy a property. It's just something that we could kind of replicate what we did, but have it for ourselves. And we were in the peak of the Melbourne boom. Like, it was just crazy. We went to auction after auction. It was ridiculous. We were getting outbidded by 150K. We had a tap out, and people were just crushing us everywhere we went, and it was disheartening at first. And then one rainy day, we were out at an auction. Not many people there. The vendors were desperate to sell. Everything lined up. The stars just lined up just perfectly, and boom, we'd got our first really, really awesome deal, and with a purpose to set up a place where people could share and live affordably. That was our premise, right? And straight away, we were jumping into that. I was coming home after work, and we were renovating. There was paint and dust and stuff going everywhere.
3-month renovation going on.
3-month renovation, because we were working and doing this in our time, right? But as we were going through this, we're putting it together as a vision of what we wanted to create for other people. And it was about creating this quality of life for people, not just a product that you see on like places like Gumtree and flatmates where it's like a mattress on the floor or it's just an empty room. We wanted to create something special for the people that lived with us, right? And exactly, a home. And we worked really hard. We did a good reno job on this. And it was an investment property that, for the most part in that area, would have been negatively geared. It would have been costing us money. But the way that we'd set it up, straight from the get-go, it was giving us a nice, comfortable feeling. We had some income coming in. And you know what? We got these awesome people staying with us that needed a place just like what we were offering. It kind of sparked something in us, right? We wanted to take this to another level. And it was like, wow, if we could do this, yeah, we can keep doing this, right? It's a market that's growing. And we noticed that there was a demand for this, right? This demand is, I don't think, after doing this for so long, this demand is not going away. People need a good, safe place to stay. Anyway, we went on to deal number 2, deal number 3.
And deal number 4.
At this stage, we got to deal number 3, and we were really in a position where we could look to quitting jobs and getting into real estate full time. And I decided at that point, we'd made the decision, okay, we have enough cash flow coming in, let me quit my job, right? And I had a good corporate job building high-rise buildings, really well paid. I called it the golden handcuffs because I got paid so well and it just kept me in there. And I wanted to leave, but then I'd get a bonus and I couldn't, Eventually, after 8 months of battling this, I eventually threw in the towel, burnt my bridges and said, yeah, that's it, I'm out of here. Let's go. And at exactly that same moment when we decided to do that, we kind of realized that we were doing things very wrong because the councils came knocking at our door.
Yeah.
And they told us that we were doing it illegally and that we hadn't got the right processes set up and that if we didn't, they were going to fine us big. Anyone that's been in Victoria knows that those fines can be pretty serious. So we were stressed for a while because we didn't know. And you know what happens? Sometimes when your back is against the wall and you've got nowhere else to go, you go like, what am I going to do? Like everything's just falling apart. I just quit my job. I burnt my bridges. I literally told my boss what he can do with him, and et cetera, et cetera. And that was it. I wasn't going back. And now that this is the situation, and we calculated that to sort this all out would have been over the hundreds of thousands of dollars in the way they were explaining. And me being the person that I am, I kind of, said, look, there has to be a better way. There has to be a way to figure this all out and to be able to progress. And we were passionate about what we wanted to do and wanted to deliver. And so in that journey, we figured out something along the way that was very important. It was about processes and how the legal system, the regulation works and how to put it together the right way so that it made sense. And everybody was happy, including councils, including whoever else was involved with that. It was a steep learning curve, but wow, how awesome. And from that, we were able to establish ourselves as experts in this industry.
But the most important thing is that we were actually able to turn our situation around. So we were looking at losing all our cash flow that we'd actually worked so hard to achieve, to losing that. So we were able to turn that around.
We would have had to lose it all. I mean, we wouldn't have been able to afford negative properties, and we certainly wouldn't be able to keep going. One of the sad things that happened through that process, though, was that we had to, and I still remember this, and I still think about this, is that we had to shut one of the properties down altogether and kick everybody out.
Right. How many people in that property at the time?
There was 6.
There were 6 really nice guys who had called that place home. They were so settled there. They loved the place, and we had to literally go and tell them the story. Look, we have to make you leave, unfortunately. And look, they understood, but it was heartbreaking because now they had to root themselves up and go looking for places to live again. And, we'd set it up so that they would be comfortable, looked after, and that really impacted us. So we never wanted to go through that again. And so we grew from that. It was an evolution that made us realize what the possibilities were, and that the people in the community for us, the people that we provide accommodation for, are important to us. And we've kind of built that into what we do across all of our properties now. We've evolved. We've got now 9 of our own properties. that we look after, and we've been helping multiple people and students along the way in Victoria to set up and establish themselves with rooming houses. It's been great. We've got a good network. We've got a great bunch of people that are interested. It's a motivational thing when you see people that have the results from a property that's negative to a property that's positive. But on top of that, you're helping people that need a place that's, cheaper to stay, because the rental prices in Melbourne, Sydney, Perth, Brisbane, all of the places, they're getting really, really steep. People can't afford to stay there anymore, right?
Yeah.
So these are good. This is a good option for them.
Yeah. And on average, how many rooms do you have in these rooming houses?
On average?
On average.
Well,
probably 7.5.
Yeah. 7.5 to 3, kind of.
They're usually up in the higher level. As you know, in Victoria we can have up to 9 bedrooms. So, but not many of them are actually 9. A lot of 8s, a lot of 7s, a lot of 6s. So
we try and aim for a bit of quality of life when we can. Sometimes we have an odd 9, the bigger ones here and there, but those are set up for that. We like to give people the feeling of when they're staying in a community like this, they're not under pressure with all the other people around. We try and make it feel like it's a place that they can stay for long term, and they're safe and comfortable.
And what's the feedback that you've got from your tenants in terms of what it's like? Because I think some people have this idea that a share house is going to be, like you said, a mattress on the floor. That it's the kitchens are disgusting. The fridge, I don't even want to talk about the fridge. How have you? Obviously, how many rooms are you guys managing now? Your own and once your clients.
So, well, the difference I think between the products that are out there versus how we actually manage is that I just have, I kind of drive how the houses are set up, but I have a pretty high standard that I expect of what I would like to offer somebody to stay in as a home. So for me, if I wouldn't stay there, then I don't think that that's good enough. Okay, so my standard is not, it's not superior, it's not like mega. It is comfortable, clean, convenient, with little quirky things added in for, that experience that people are looking for.
So, now we've kind of found ourselves fitting in a gap of in the community. We've got such a varied amount of people, from divorced dads. We got quite a lot of divorced dads. Single mums. We got a lot of international students that are traveling and trying to get their foot in the door.
Usually mature age international students.
Yeah, mum and dad's kind of looking after them as well, and they want them to get doctors and lawyers degrees, that kind of stuff. We find that's kind of fitting well with us. There's a big community of tradies out there that are single, that need places to stay like this, and they're comfortable with that. There's single mums out there looking for places like this. It's a really interesting market where it's people don't mind sharing. They really don't. They have a mindset of being able to live with other people. A lot of there's a segment of the community that looks and says, "I would never share. I wouldn't do that." We lived in our own properties for many years, sharing with the people that we were, supplying the product to, and we loved it. It's a part of our growth, learning about what people want, learning about how it feels to be in these environments, and we did it for a long time.
Because of that real life experience, we're able to know what the problems can be and how to mitigate those problems in the houses that we manage and own. So it's first-hand real life experience that we can, that we take that on board, and we are able to, implement that, if you like. So,
yeah. And do you find that your tenants, I'm sure it all depends on each individual, that there are ones that will just stay in their rooms, and then there are others that actually enjoy that sort of, community and your neighbor right down the hallway type thing?
Yeah.
Everybody comes together when it's dinner time. The kitchen always buzzes. Doesn't matter whether people. Sorry.
That's really. I mean, that concept to me is really, really cool, because it's an opportunity for people to interact, especially when you've got busy lives, right? Everyone's
working. Yeah. And one of the ways that we encourage that little micro community is that we do not allow like a communal TV in a communal area, because for me, a communal area is for conversation. It is for communicating. So you want to watch TV, go and watch it in your room. So that's how we create this little micro community where people they do interact in the living areas. So it works really well.
That's awesome. What is the your tenant who's lived in your, in one of your properties? How long have they been with you?
Wow. Our longest one is about 4.5 years, actually 2.
Yeah,
about 4.5 years.
That's
still going. I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
So our very first property, when we were doing the renovation, there was paint buckets and trays and timber and all kinds of stuff going there, but we needed to, rent out rooms.
We needed cash flow.
We were renting out rooms right in the beginning with all the stuff going on. And these 2 guys that moved in at that time are still staying there. They just, and decided that's their place. They're not going anywhere. They loved that there was the activity then, and that they've just been very comfortable and settled, and that's it.
And they've made it home.
Yep, so they made it home for over nearly 5 years now.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
So you obviously, I mean, to get that level of sort of, gellness, I don't know what the word is, but where tenants are.
Gellness is a very good word. I like that.
Makes sense. Like, how do you get that to happen? Is it a selection criteria? Who does that sort of screening process?
Yeah, that's a very, very good answer. Very good answer.
Yeah. That comes down to me, and it comes down to experience, a lot of experience. It does matter who you feel comfortable with in the house, and it also really matters how you offer a room to somebody based on the other tenants in the house as well, because they're relying on you to get someone else who's going to be as cool as them type thing. So it is really important. It's a big responsibility. It doesn't always work. It's not 100% foolproof, of course. But from a tenant selection process, it is not just about that one tenant and whether or not they can pay the rent. It is about how they're going to fit with the rest of the house. Okay, so, and that just comes down to, having a good conversation, reading body language, just understanding everyone else in the house as well. So understanding your current tenants and, what they may or may not be doing or not doing or whatever, taking that all on board. It's a really holistic overlook that you need to consider, which is why these work well when there is a good tenant selection process in place. So.
Yeah, definitely. And like Sahara is saying, it's not just about doing an application form. It's about talking. We're very passionate about having a conversation with the people, even if we're busy. Sahara will make a point of being there, or her property manager, and she's trained them how to communicate and talk and have the conversation, to ask the right questions. And when people are right fit, makes a good house, and everyone's happy. It's a win-win.
Yeah. And what has been, I know this year has been a big year for you guys. What has been the biggest challenge for 2019, and what has been the biggest success for 2019?
Challenge?
The biggest challenge has been our business growth and how to manage our time as we're growing. I think a lot of people would relate to that. When you get more and more things happening, the smaller your time gaps get, and you start realizing how much more valuable time is. So it's been a really big challenge for us, and we're learning. One of the big learnings is to say no to certain things, so that we can have more yeses happening in our life that make sense and are real. That's been one of the biggest things for us. So some of the big accomplishments that we've had, well, we've now on 53 odd rooming houses that we've helped deliver in Victoria, all doing very well as far as I know. It's been a great experience working with all of our clients and helping them have success with setting up their rooming houses. I think that's well over nearly 400, close to 400 odd rooms that we've provided, accommodation that we've provided for people extra in Victoria. So we're very proud of that. And we're able to look back at this last year and go, wow, that's been pretty cool. Not only have we helped clients, but we've helped the community as well. So something we're very proud about.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And one of the things that I often say to people is that you can balance the concept of delivering a social outcome, a good social outcome, with also having a positive financial return, which is obviously what you guys have done, not just for yourselves, but for other people. I mean, to be able to flip a property that, like you said, was probably negatively geared into something that's positively geared is fantastic, because then people have this level of freedom that they're not chained to these underachieving properties, right?
Exactly.
They can actually start to plan a future now, instead of being shackled to a negatively geared property. They can actually start planning of how they're going to get their next positively geared property. It is really, really life-changing, especially to your small mum and dad investors might have one or two negatively geared properties. All of a sudden they can't go any further than that because they're negatively geared. You flip that around, all of a sudden their whole borrowing capacity, their serviceability, it looks completely different. So it is really life-changing.
Yeah. I would see that. Sorry.
So I was going to say, can you share an example of how, a before and after, an example that you've done?
In terms of an image?
No.
No. Okay. That's a good one. I was actually just thinking about this before. We had a lovely lady who bought a property quite a while ago, right? I'd say it was probably about the same time we bought our first one. So not that long ago, but in that area. And she had these people living in her property. The property manager that was looking after the place was not helpful at all.
No.
She had this place, the people that were living there were living in a shared environment, right? Anyway, and they were paying her something like 400 and something a week. The place was definitely worth about 560-ish a week for that area, but she just couldn't get the increase in rent, and they were just staying and staying. It was causing her a major issue because, she realized that she could be doing something better. She came to us and asked for help to help change the situation. She said, "There's people sharing it anyway. I might as well do this and take the benefit instead of somebody else taking the benefit. It's my property, right?" And we were like, "Yep, let's see what we can do." And it was a really beautiful place. Like, it's really done up nicely. And we went through the process. We helped her convert it. She's turned it into a rooming house, and she's kitted it out just how we've advised, and it is absolutely amazing. The place has been buzzing, I think, since she's turned it over, and I believe that it went up to it's well over 2,000 a week that she's getting on that property.
Wow.
Yeah, she's been incredible, lovely lady.
How many bedrooms?
That's an 8th bedroom, I believe. But it's a double story. Just the way it's laid out. She's put some extras in there. It just works really well.
But
really good place.
Sorry. That wouldn't have happened if she wasn't an action taker, though.
Exactly. She decided to take action, and she made it happen. And now she's looking for more.
She's looking for a second one, and that was only 12 months ago that she did that. Yeah. So that's how quickly something can actually turn around. And it's made a very, very big impact in her family's life.
Yeah,
and
I'm excited.
Yeah.
What was the duration of starting to finishing up? Like, how long did that conversion take?
That took about 7 weeks.
That's really quick.
Yeah. We're very fortunate in Victoria that we have a great exemption in the planning scheme, which allows us to work within parameters to make these happen very quickly. We're very privileged, and we enjoy that fact.
Yeah, that's fab. Well, what are, and I'm conscious of the time here, what are some parting words, and what do you think have been the main things that have contributed to the success that the both of you have had? Obviously, being able to work together harmoniously is a big one. But what is it, like you said, you know, your client was an action taker, and that's what I always say, Matt's an action man.
Yeah.
You are, and you're a woman as well.
Oh, wow. There's one very, very core philosophy we have in our business, and it's called persistence, right? We don't give up. You can't give up. Life throws so many things at you always, every day. It's like being on a little, what do you call it? What do you call it?
That wheel that goes around.
Like a little hamster wheel, right? You got obstacle course. It's like being on an obstacle course.
And you don't know what's around the next corner.
And you just got to keep battling through it and keep going. Doesn't matter. You can't stop, because if you stop, what's the alternative? You just end up being average and staying in position or going backwards.
Yeah, you don't get any.
And we that's something that we're very passionate about, is that, you know what, we've set goals, big goals, and nothing's going to get in our way to get there. And the more people that have that idea and mentality in their psyche, the better off a lot of people will be.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And in terms of, are you able to share what's next? What's 2020 looking like for you guys?
Wow, 2020 is going to be a big year for us. It's looking really good. We're shifting from, we've been kind of in the residential market for the last while, and that's been really good. Now we're looking to go bigger, better, harder, and we're stepping it up and going into developments. We're looking at doing some really good projects this year. We're really excited about that.
Next year, yeah.
It's looking really well. So the great privilege of being involved with such a great community has given us some good options and opportunity. And affordable housing has been a really deep passion of ours, and we want to keep producing great affordable places for people that are safe and they look good and they're a good product. And we're gonna keep delivering that. So our aim, I think, we said 1,000 new rooms.
No, 1,000 people.
1,000 people.
That could mean 10 rooms per person.
10 rooms per person.
Yeah,
so that's a lot of rooms.
Yeah.
Being 10 a room.
Well, 53 people so far.
Yeah. 1,000 entrepreneurs we want to help, and we want to create 1,000 new rooms, more than that.
Yeah. That's fine. Thank you, guys. I think that has been fantastic. I have to say, I can't tell on this particular app who's made any comments or whichever, but I'm sure I'll be able to when we get on the Facebook page. But it's been an absolute pleasure having the both of you. I love your story. I think it's so motivating and so inspiring for people who are wanting to not just improve their own lifestyles and their financial positions, but also to provide affordable, safe housing for other people. So well done, guys, and thanks so much for your time. I've loved having you on Project Impact, and we will chat again soon.
Thank you so much, Cheryl.
Thanks, Cheryl. We look forward to the next one.
Yeah, definitely.
Bye-bye.
Bye.